Brahma, Varun, Indra, and the tempestuous throngs of the skies, with hallowed hymns and exalted acclaims, his infinite splendor lies. The Vedas do resound, the Sama doth through Pada glide, and whispers from the Upanishads, where truth and spirit bide. In tranquil hush, the sages glimpse his visage deep within their core, in Samadhi's quiet sea, where tempests cease to roar. The deities and fiends do seek, yet find not his fated close. To him, the sovereign of all that doth exist, I do humbly bend my heart and mind in reverence. Chapter 15 of the Bhagavad Gita, entitled Purushottama Yoga, is a deep philosophical text that reveals the fundamental principles of existence, the soul, and the Supreme Being. Utilizing the evocative metaphor of an inverted banyan tree, Lord Krishna elucidates the intricate nature of the material realm and the entanglements that tether the soul to the cycle of birth and death. This chapter eloquently differentiates between the perishable, the imperishable, and the Supreme Person who surpasses both. In under 20 succinct verses, it presents a comprehensive philosophy of detachment, divine enlightenment, and the journey to liberation. In this video, we'll explore each verse with meaning, translation, and insights to understand how this sacred teaching can elevate our lives today. The blessed Lord said, "There is a banyan tree described as imperishable, with its roots upward and its branches spreading downward. Its leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who truly understands this tree is a knower of the Vedas." The banyan tree here is symbolic of sansar, the material existence. Its roots above represent the supreme reality, the origin of all. Its branches, depicted below, represent the manifest world, spreading into all aspects of creation. The leaves are the Vedic hymns. They represent knowledge which sustains this world. Only the one who sees this tree as it genuinely is understands the eternal truths of the Ved. This verse sets the philosophical stage for the rest of Purushottama Yoga, in which Krishna reveals the nature of the Supreme Person and how to rise above the entanglements of this inverted tree of material life. The branches of this tree extend both downward and upward and are nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the sense objects. The tree also has roots that extend downward, binding the soul to actions in the human world. The branches represent the endless activities, desires, and thoughts spreading throughout material life. These branches reach into higher realms, heavenly worlds, and lower ones, hellish or base experiences. Gun pravritta means the three gun, sattva, rajas, tamas, feed and sustain this tree, giving it form and growth. The twigs are the sense objects, sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell, that attract and bind us. Roots growing downward symbolize the more profound attachment to karma, action, which binds the soul to repeated birth and death in the human world. This verse continues the metaphor of the inverted tree of material existence, describing how deeply entangled souls become through desire, sensory engagement, and the accumulation of karma. The proper form of this cosmic tree or sansar cannot be perceived in this world. Its origin, end, or foundation cannot be grasped, but with the firm weapon of detachment, one must cut down this deeply rooted Ashwat tree. Then one must diligently seek that supreme abode from which, having gone there, one never returns. Surrender to that original eternal Purush from whom the ancient process of creation has emanated. The material world is like a vast tree, enticing, ever spreading, but ultimately illusory and impermanent. Its true nature can't be seen with the worldly eye. The roots of desire and attachment tightly bind the soul in the bondage of karma and rebirth. To liberate oneself, one must wield the sword of non-attachment with determination, cutting through ignorance, desires, and ego. Once detached, the seeker must aspire to reach the supreme goal, that eternal realm, the supreme abode, from where no soul returns to the cycle of birth and death. There, one surrenders to the Adipurush, the eternal source from whom this ancient creation has emerged. These verses guide the seeker to rise above the entanglements of the material world and return to the eternal source through the power of detachment and surrender. Those who are free from pride and illusion, who have conquered the faults of attachment, who are ever steadfast in spiritual knowledge, who have renounced selfish desires, and who are liberated from the dualities of pleasure and pain, such undeluded souls attain that eternal, imperishable state. This verse describes the qualities of a soul prepared for liberation, the kind of person who reaches the supreme eternal abode, Padmavyayam. Here, Nirman Moha means free from pride and delusion, having let go of ego and false identity. Jitsang Doshaha, having conquered the flaws born of attachment, likes, dislikes, possessiveness. Adhyatma Nityaha, always established in spiritual wisdom and awareness of the self. Vinivritta Kamaha, free from worldly desires and cravings, desires no longer drive them. Dvandvarvi Muktaha, free from the dualities such as pleasure and pain, success and failure, which disturb the mind. Amudah, undeluded, with a clear understanding of reality. Padamavyam Gachanti, such seekers attain the imperishable abode, the supreme goal, which is beyond birth and death, by transcending ego, desires, and dualities, and by anchoring in actual spiritual knowledge. The wise attain the supreme, eternal state beyond return. That supreme abode of mine is neither illuminated by the sun, nor the moon, nor by fire. Having reached it, souls never return. It is my highest eternal realm. Na tadbhasayate suryo. In the spiritual world, the radiance of the sun, the moon, or fire is not required. It is self-luminous, filled with the eternal light of the Supreme Consciousness. This abode, Dham, is the eternal spiritual realm beyond time, space, and duality. Yadgatva na nivartante. Once a soul reaches this supreme abode, they never return to the cycle of birth and death. Tadham paramam mam. Lord Krishna declares that this is his supreme abode, beyond material existence, where pure liberated souls dwell in eternal bliss. Those who reach the Supreme Lord's eternal self-effulgent abode never return to the darkness of material existence. The living entities in this material world are my eternal fragmental parts. However, due to their association with the material nature, they struggle with the six senses, including the mind. Mame Vansha, Lord Krishna says that every individual soul, Jeev, is a part and parcel of him, like a spark from a fire, divine in essence but not equal in entirety. Sanatana, these souls are eternal. They were not created at birth and do not end with death. Jeev Loke, in the world of conditioned existence, souls take bodies and live out karmic destinies. Karshati, the soul struggles or is dragged by the pull of material nature through the six senses, five sense organs plus the mind. These senses, when influenced by Prakriti, material nature, cause the soul to remain entangled in the cycle of desire, action, and reaction. Though divine and eternal, the soul struggles in the material world due to its entanglement with the senses and the mind. When the embodied soul takes on a new body or leaves the old one, it carries with it the mind and senses, just as the wind carries fragrances from their source. Ishwar here refers to the individual soul or Jeev, the master of its body. As the soul enters a body, avapnoti, or departs from it, utkramati, it carries with it subtle elements like the mind, intellect, and senses. This process is compared to air-carrying scents, unseen but potent. The desires and karmic impressions carried by the soul determine the nature of its next birth. Just as air carries scent from one place to another, the soul carries its subtle impressions as it moves from one body to the next. Taking shelter in the mind, the living entity uses the ears, eyes, skin, tongue, and nose to enjoy the sense objects of the world. The living being, or Jeev, having entered a new physical body, operates through the five sense organs: hearing, ears, seeing, eyes, touch, skin, taste, tongue, and smell, nose. All these senses are coordinated through the mind, which acts as the controller and interpreter of sensory input. Through this setup, the soul interacts with and enjoys the world, depending on the karma and desires carried from previous lives. This verse emphasizes that sense enjoyment is not random, but a systematic interaction of body, mind, and subtle impressions. Seated in the mind, the soul experiences the world through the five senses, enjoying life according to its karmic destiny. The ignorant cannot perceive how the soul departs from the body, remains within it, or enjoys under the influence of the modes of nature. But those whose vision is illuminated by knowledge can see it clearly. Utkramantam, when the soul leaves the body at death, sthitamva, or remains within during life, bhunjanam va gunanvitam, enjoys experiences through contact with the three gun, sattva, rajas, tamas. Vimuda, the deluded, spiritually ignorant people, na anupashyanti, do not perceive this reality. Pashyanti gyan chakshusham means Those with the eye of knowledge, the enlightened ones, see the truth. This verse reminds us that spiritual insight, not mere intellectualism, is required to perceive the subtle truths of life, death, and the soul's journey. The ignorant cannot perceive the soul's journey, but the wise, blessed with spiritual vision, see its presence, departure, and experience. The yogi, through sincere effort and self-discipline, see the soul clearly, abiding within themselves. But even though others may try, those who lack self-control and discernment cannot perceive it. Yatantaha yogina, yogi who sincerely strive on the spiritual path, enam pashyanti atmani avasthitam, perceive the soul as situated within the self through deep meditation and realization. Akrit atmana, those who have not purified or disciplined the self, the mind and senses, achetas, those who lack spiritual intelligence or awareness. Na pashyanti, do not see or recognize the presence of the soul. Yatantaha api, even if they try through external or superficial means. This verse emphasizes that true vision comes only to those who are internally disciplined and spiritually awakened, not merely through effort, but through purified consciousness. The soul is seen by yogis who are self-controlled and inwardly focused, but remains hidden to those whose minds are unrefined, even if they try. The brilliance that resides in the sun and illuminates the entire world, and that which shines in the moon and in fire, know that all such splendor comes from me. Yad adityagatam teja, the light and energy of the sun, which sustains life and dispels darkness, jagat bhasayate akhilam, which illuminates the entire universe, yat cha chandramasi, and the calm radiance of the moon, yat cha agno, and the heat and glow of fire, that teja viddimamkam. Know all this brilliance to be mine, a manifestation of my divine energy. This verse teaches that all sources of light and energy, whether physical, sun, moon, fire, or symbolic, knowledge, clarity, life force, originate from the Supreme Lord. The light of the sun, the moon, and fire all originate from the divine brilliance of the Supreme. Entering the earth, I sustain all living beings with my energy. Becoming the moon, I nourish all plants with the essence of life. Gam avishya, entering into the earth, bhutani dharayami aham ojasa, I support and uphold all living beings by my vital energy. Pushnami cha aushadhiha sarvaha, I nourish all vegetation and herbs, somaha bhutva rasatmakha, by becoming the soma, the essence of taste and vitality present in the moonlight. This verse reveals that the Lord is the sustaining power behind all life. He is in the earth, giving strength, and in the moon, which nurtures plants, making food and life possible. The Lord, present in the earth and moon, sustains all beings and nourishes all vegetation with His divine essence. I am the digestive fire, Vaishvanar, dwelling in the bodies of all living beings. United with the life airs, pran and apan, I digest the four types of food. Aham Vaishvanara Bhutva. I become Vaishvanar, the fire of digestion. Praninam Deham Ashrita, residing in the bodies of living beings. Pranapan Samayukta, balancing the upward moving pran and the downward moving apan life forces. Pachami Annam Chaturvidham. I digest the four types of food. Bhojyam, food that is chewed, solid food. Peyam, food that is drunk, liquids. Lehyam, food that is licked like honey, paste. Choshyam, food that is sucked like juicy fruits or soups. This verse beautifully highlights that the divine presence within us governs even our most basic biological processes, such as digestion, and that the Supreme Lord sustains life not only externally but also internally. The Lord, as the fire of digestion, sustains life within all beings by digesting the four kinds of food through the vital airs. I am seated in the heart of all living beings. From me come memory, knowledge, and forgetfulness. I alone am to be known through all the Ved. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta and I am the knower of the Ved. Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishtaha. The Supreme Lord is present in the heart of every being as the inner witness as Antaryami. Mattaha Smritiha Jnanam Apohanam Cha. Memory, knowledge, and even forgetfulness arise from His will. This includes all our cognitive processes. Vedaha cha sarveha aham eva vedyaha. The ultimate purpose of the Vedas is to realize Him alone. Vedanta Krit, He is the author, compiler of Vedanta. Vedavid evacha aham, and He is the true knower of the Ved, beyond scholarly interpretation. This verse is both deeply philosophical and profoundly devotional, demonstrating that God is not only the creator of the external universe, but also the source of inner awareness, the ultimate goal of scriptural study, and the knower of all knowledge. The Lord dwells in all hearts, is the source of memory and knowledge, and is the ultimate goal, knower, and author of the Ved. There are two kinds of beings in this world, the perishable and the imperishable. All living entities in the material realm are perishable, while those who are situated in the spiritual realm are said to be imperishable. Dvo imo purusho loke. In this world, there are two categories of beings, kshara, the fallible or perishable beings. These are all embodied living entities in the material world, subject to birth, decay, and death. Akshara, the infallible or imperishable beings who remain untouched by material nature and dwell in the spiritual realm. They are unchanging and eternal. Kutastha means unchanging, firm, or unshakable. It refers to the unaffected soul or consciousness in its pure spiritual state. This verse sets the stage for the next one, in which Krishna reveals a third and supreme category, the Supreme Purush, transcending both the fallible and the infallible. But beyond these two, the perishable and the imperishable, there is yet another, the Supreme Person, called the Paramatma, the imperishable Lord, who has entered the three worlds and sustains them all. Uttamaha Purusha tu Anya. There is a third category of being, the Supreme Person, Purushottam, beyond both fallible and infallible beings. Paramatma iti udahritaha. He is called the Supreme Soul or Paramatma, the all-pervading indwelling presence. Yo loktrayam avishya, he enters the three worlds, heaven, earth and the lower regions, bibharti, and sustains all of them, avyayaha Ishvara, being the eternal, unchanging, Supreme Lord. This verse reveals the true essence of God, not just as a cosmic witness or passive presence, but as the active sustainer, present everywhere, and yet transcendent. Because I transcend both the perishable and the imperishable, I am celebrated in the world and in the Vedas as the Supreme Person, Purushottam. Krishna declares that he surpasses both. He is not limited by the cycle of birth and death like Ksharaha, nor just a passive, inactive spirit like Akshara. Thus, he is Purushottam, the Supreme Being, recognized not only by the world through spiritual traditions and the experience of enlightened sages, but also by the supreme and authoritative source of eternal knowledge, the Vedas. This dual recognition, both empirical and scriptural, affirms his unique status, transcending both the perishable and the imperishable, and establishes him as the ultimate truth to be known and revered. O son of Bharat, whoever understands me in this way, without delusion as the Supreme Person, Purushottam, is truly wise and worships me with complete devotion. Yo mam evam asamudha janati. Whoever knows me truly, without confusion or delusion, as described in the previous verses, Purushottamam as Purushottam, the Supreme Person, beyond the fallible and infallible, Saha Sarvavit, he is the knower of all, for he understands the essence of spiritual truth, Bhajati Mam Sarvabhavin, and thus worships me with all his heart, with complete devotion. This verse emphasizes that true wisdom lies in recognizing Krishna as Purushottam, and such realization naturally leads one to pure devotional service offered with complete surrender. One who knows Krishna as the Supreme Person is truly wise and serves him with complete devotion and love. Thus, this most confidential teaching has been revealed by me, O sinless one. One who understands it becomes truly wise and has fulfilled the purpose of life, O son of Bharat. Iti guhyatamam shastram. This is the most secret and sacred knowledge among all scriptures. Idam uktam maya, and I have spoken it directly to you. Anagha, O sinless Arjun, pure in heart and action, etat buddhva, Whoever understands this knowledge, buddhiman syat, becomes truly intelligent, kritakritya cha, and becomes one who has fulfilled all duties and the ultimate purpose of life. This closing verse confirms that knowing Purushottam, the Supreme Person, as Krishna, the source of everything, is not just a philosophical insight, it is the essence of wisdom and the completion of spiritual pursuit. This supreme teaching leads to true wisdom and the fulfillment of life. Understanding it, one becomes complete and perfected. Thank you for watching. In these timeless verses of Purushottama Yoga, Lord Krishna reveals the essence of true wisdom, understanding the Supreme Lord Krishna who transcends all. As we reflect on the inverted tree of life, the bondage of karma, and the path of devotion, may these teachings inspire us to rise above illusion and walk towards self-realization. If you found this video meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Karishmashrinkhala for more insights on the Bhagavad Gita and spiritual living. Until next time, stay rooted in truth and rise toward the light of divine knowledge. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Bharat.